hello everyone. Welcome to the Blessings channel. My name is Asti Chandrakar. I am tuning in from Atlanta. I'm a volunteer teacher with the Art of Living Foundation here in Atlanta, and welcoming you all to the Blessings channel with another beautiful story. I have the extreme pleasure of introducing you all to my very dear friend, mentor, and a mom figure, Juhi Bhatnagar ji from California Bay Area, and her two loving sons, Samir Bhatnagar and Avichal Bhatnagar. So welcome you all to the channel. It's a great pleasure to have you all in here. We have been wanting and dreaming to do this together for a very long time, and it's happening today, so I'm very excited.
Thank you. We're excited to be here too today, Asti, and share the journey with you.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you. So without further ado, maybe we'll begin. Juhi ji, I would begin by asking you this question. What does blessings mean to you?
Blessing is good wishes and prayers of loving one to others. And it's like unconditional love. And also it goes direct to the heart because it helps.
Absolutely. Thank you, Auntie, for saying that. And we all know you have been the epitome of that unconditional love and blessings to all of us in the art of living. So hearing it from you means a lot.
You are too, you know.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. So some of us know a very little about your very inspiring story of healing through faith. We would love to hear from you today, in your own words. What did this journey of huge willpower, tenacity, and strength that you have come all this way through, what did it mean to you? And please share with us whatever you can today.
You already know that problems are always very big, and it bothers me in the beginning. But then faith and trust to Guruji and my family and you, and also some my friends who are unconditionally loving me for so many years, I go through. It is not easy. Still, I have lots of challenges. Gurudev is there, and I always think that he is helping.
Absolutely, Auntie. And Avi, you have been there by Auntie's side and also Samir, throughout this journey. Would you like to share, some of the experiences of how this journey has unfolded for Auntie and you all as a family together?
Yeah, definitely. I think it all started, the journey has been for 2 years with mom's, illness. And when, life forces into crisis mode, all the professional training that we have as individuals gets put to the ultimate test. So part of the journey has been a radiation treatment that was for my mom, and it was meant to save my mom's life, and actually became the catalyst for what I'd say is our greatest challenge. And the treatment severely damaged some of her vital organs, and particularly her lungs. So 3 months after the treatment, the radiation was done, we watched her condition, deteriorate, lack of energy, no appetite, shortness of breath, fluid buildup, heavy wheezing, all these deconditioning issues to the body seemed to worsen by the day. And then ultimately, it all led to this fall where she had, I still remember the night of November 19th, like it was yesterday, finding, my mom in the middle of the night, fallen in a fetal position with blood gashing all over her forehead. I was in utter shock as to what was happening, and I never would have imagined. And what we learned later was pneumonia had weakened her so much to the point that a simple movement became catastrophe. So still remember the 911 call, the ambulance ride, the rush to the emergency room. Samir and I were there side by side, and none of us were prepared for what became a 7.5 month immersion course in crisis leadership. So, that was just the beginning of the journey. What we never imagined, the medical reality was, overwhelming for all of us. There was intubation for breathing support. There was, failed extubations. There was pneumonia complications. There was repeat, septic shocks. There were multiple procedures that were conducted across her abdomen, her chest, very technical in nature, thoracenteses, paracenteses. She spent basically the first 2.5 months cycling in and out of the ICU. And there were even 4 times in different occasions when doctors just weren't sure if she was even going to make it out of the ICU. And I remember the beginning of this year, at one point, she had 5 different tubes inserted in her body that were based on various procedures. And it was really frightening and heartbreaking for us to witness. And, every operating system that Samir and I had navigated in life, all the assumptions that we had about control, all frameworks about success, all the understanding of what's possible suddenly all felt very obsolete. To us, it wasn't just a medical crisis. It was more of a complete leadership laboratory about the most extreme conditions imaginable. Very difficult. And so, I can share more, but Samir, please feel free to chime in about some of your experiences during the 7.5 months in the hospital stay.
Sure. Well, first of all, Asti, Jai Gurudev, and thank you for giving us an opportunity to share what we've been going through with mom, not just the 7.5 months, but over the last 2 years, but like how Avi summarized on how the 2 years and plus more intense 7.5 months have been. It's been extremely fatal, very unexpected, very demanding on mom and us supporting her in whatever capacity we can. But it all comes down to having faith and belief. That's mom, as you already know, and as you introduced mom, she's been the pillar of our family on starting with all of us with our journey with Art of Living. And she started many people's journey with Art of Living. She's been a teacher, a volunteer, and giving back in whatever capacity to help people with their journey. And it's all of those goodwills and wishes and all her friends that really care about her that have been instrumental in her journey, along with, of course, Sri Sri, that's really held our hands and kept mom alive to this day. Like Avi called out, there were at least 4 different instances where the doctors had completely given up in the ICU room. Both me and Avi, we just did not know what's going to happen next. It was, I would say, a near-death experience for mom, at least 4 times. And every single time she fought back, she came back. And it was because of faith, because of having the kripa of Sri Sri and all the well-wishers with the daily chanting and the Om Namo Shivaya and the faith that really led her to where she is today. So like I said in the beginning, we're of course very thankful that she's home, but still the journey still continues.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, Avi and Samir. That candid sharing means a lot to us, and some of us have been very close to Auntie and all of you with the family and been part of this journey. So we've seen that, firsthand, first eyes, what has gone into it. That's why I call it an absolutely a journey of tenacity and willpower and grace and faith. I still remember seeing that note that Auntie wrote, when her hands were unclamped for the first time in the ventilator bed, and she wrote to her attendants that you people are doing good job, but it's my faith and my guru that's taking me ahead. that's keeping me alive and active, and that meant a lot. I could see that all that beautiful surprises, expressions of surprises in people's faces when they were reading that, right? The doctors and RTs and the nurses. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Samir, I know you also have been a long-standing, volunteer member of the Art of Living Foundation. You have been mentor to many of us in the Art of Living, including myself. Would you like to share, any incidences where you're going through a difficult, phase in your life and you sought for blessings from an Art of Living blesser, and how that unfolded, or if you've seen any such stories with other people in Art of Living, being helped by this phenomena called blessings?
Well, first of all, Asti, thanks for that question. Starting off, my mom is a living example of the blessing that we see and feel her energy every day. It's her well-wishers that have been instrumental with, of course, Sri Sri behind every single well-wisher that's guiding all of us to channel that energy to fight and keep that positive spirit along the way, for sure. For me, I've personally had the luxury of being around Sri Sri Ravi Shankar a few times in my life, and it almost feels like it's a once in a lifetime experience that I have just being around his sheer presence. It just becomes such an emotional cleanse. Everything else feels minute just around his sheer presence, and we drop all her our anxieties, our demands, our wishes, and everything just feels, I would say, a pure bliss just around his sheer presence, and his energy is so divine and rich that we forget on who we are, and it just becomes a way of life, and just motivates and drives us to go to the next level. It's and that's, like I said, the few times I've been around him, it just re-energizes and opens up a whole new life in each one of us. And it's been a game changer for me personally, for Avi, for my mom. Like I said in the beginning, my mom has been the pillar of not only for me and Avi, but for many, many, many people that started their journey. And she got me and Avi to become, start taking more courses and start giving back to the community on however capacity that we can. Everyone has their own journey. I know both me and Avi have shared our personal experiences on how the breathing, Kriya, meditation, yoga, on how all of these tools have been instrumental in our day-to-day journey, and how to deal with, cope with, whether it's the situation with mom right now, or personal situations, or whether it's political situations at work, or getting laid off, and how to navigate during the uncertainties, and how best to stay centered, calm, and relaxed despite a turbulent period that I have gone through, for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Samir. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, that says a lot about all the practices, about the faith that Auntie has an absolute bias towards, and the blessings, the phenomena that we're discussing here. So in all of these Art of Living practices, that phenomena is so imbibed, right? That's what you're alluding to, that and it shines through, when the challenging and tough times come. So thank you for sharing that. Auntie, I'll come back to you. You have been a blesser as well for long years, right? And I know you have been blessing all of us, many of us, all the time. We reach out to you seeking for blessings. Do you have any favorite blessings, a story that when you bless somebody and then they, came back to you and you saw that transformation happening in their lives?
I would say my family. My son, just before 2 years, he's different person. Now he is so much dedicated to me, to Guruji, to God, and he is instrumental. Samir was in the beginning. He was there, but Avi changed like dramatically in 2 years, and I'm surprised the way he is giving me a hug all the time, touching my feet all the time, and writing letter to Gurudev and crying for me every day in the Kriya. It's so much changes happened to him. He's when he do the meditation, he do the long meditation. In the beginning, he was not even sitting few minutes, but now with Guruji Kripa, he is doing long meditation, praying for me a lot, a lot.
Thank
I
you so
also
much.
want to say the name of my group people who was there, always blessing me very lovingly. So I will not stop taking their name. Jyoti ji, Asti, Sapna, Bhavna ji, Uma ji, Kiran ji, and Sushma ji. They are, they are touching my heart every day and giving me so much love. Samir is also very much instrumental in loving me and taking care of me. So I'm blessed. I'm totally blessed.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Auntie. Thank you so much. This is so beautiful. Avi, would you like to add something to Auntie that Auntie spoke about that the shift, the transformation, how your journey in Art of Living has been impacted by Auntie's experience and also her blessings?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, faith is something that I discovered it isn't really a feeling, it's a practice. It's making that daily decision to believe that there are going to be outcomes that we cannot see. So we have to make the investment in processes that the return may be uncertain. And that's what exactly Mom has taught us. She became the teacher in applied faith. She faced every level of adversity head on. And not because she wasn't scared, it's because she had developed this faith muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
The automatic, response to choose hope over fear, action over, paralysis, and fight over flight. And that really resonated with us. So it became a way of life for us because we didn't see this as a miracle, right? We see this as a milestone, right? And the fact that Mom getting discharged wasn't just a medical milestone. It was proof that systematic faith, when it meets operational excellence, all statistics become impossible, and inevitable outcomes happen. We didn't just defy the medical expectations. We feel like we rewrote them through the principles that we learned through the Art of Living and the leadership programs that we've been able to attain this knowledge, with Mom being the pillar of it all.
So beautiful. Thank you, Avi. You couldn't have put it any better. This is so beautifully put. And I know both you and Samir are Silicon Valley veterans, technologists, Samir being a product leader for several decades, you being in marketing executive for several decades. And I know that, training teaches us, like you said earlier, about calculated risk-taking, measured phenomena. And this is something, absolutely a territory where we are dealing with immeasurable phenomena called blessings, and unparalleled and unexpected situations. So wonderfully that you have put, and if you would like to call out any particular, experience in this journey that kind of made you think completely out of the box and, made you think beyond where the limits of science ends.
Yes, absolutely. I think that been reaping the benefits of Kriya in a way that we all know that there's spiritual benefits, but we've been seeing scientific benefits to be able to navigate through such difficult adversity.
Yes.
Samir and I made it a discipline and a practice to continue our practices, daily practices, our Kriya, our sadhana, our meditations regularly, regardless of how much challenges were in front of us. And the challenges were endless. And we felt that being able to leverage this tool was able to help us really have that muscle memory and the DNA to be able to continuously being strong and having the faith while being realistic about the situation as well. So I'd say that was definitely something that was a differentiator. When others ask me at work, colleagues, "Oh, how are you so, stable about this whole situation?" And I would share with them some of the tools and resources that of meditation and art of living practices, and really, mom, of course, being the anchor, because if she wasn't positive, if she didn't have the right mindset, none of us would be able to leverage that mindset. So she definitely was the pillar, but I'd say that the tools that were readily available to us also made a significant difference in our outlook and our mindset.
Absolutely. Wow. So wonderful. Thank you, Avi, again for sharing. And that kind of makes me think and ask you this question. You've definitely had this experience of going through this very challenging phase in mom's life and for the whole of the family. Do you think in the world today that we are living, with so many challenges around that people are facing, so many uncertainties, do you think these practices would help everybody, cope up with those challenges of life, and keeping up with the busy pace of life in general in the industry that you are working in and the political and economical situations that the world is facing today?
Absolutely. I think that these are the practices that can really help in these situations in day-to-day life and difficult circumstances. But these practices have to be done on a regular basis,
Right.
and done, with consistency. Just the way we get up every day and brush our teeth and shower and get ready for our days as a standard practice. The ability to do the Sudarshan Kriya has to be like a lifestyle, and where it's done on a regular basis and a consistent basis.
Wonderful, wonderful. That reminds me of what the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar, says, right? The dental hygiene versus the mental hygiene, right? So neither of that is more important or less important than the other, right? Like as much as we care about dental hygiene, we must care about mental hygiene too. So thank you, Avi, for saying that and reminding that. Auntie, I would like to rewind a little bit and would love to ask you, your story of how you came into the Art of Living Foundation several years ago, and what has kept you going for all these years.
In 2010, my husband suddenly passed away. I was the luckiest lady before. I was doing all kind of fun, going parties, puja, going world tour, buying lots of dresses, jewelry. I was the luckiest lady before. But all of a sudden, my husband passed away, and I feel very much peaceful in this spirituality, and I start leaving all these outer world things, and I keep taking all the courses, because Guruji ne ek dafa he said that if you want to go to God, you keep taking course, and that's Guruji. Guruji is our God. So I keep taking all the courses. I keep taking all the knowledge session. I keep taking, seva, like making meals to Art of Living people and also for temple around. And I was feeling just so joyful. And I started in this line and established in this line.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Auntie. And we also know that you have been a Seva warrior, a selfless service person all these years, right? So what has been some of your most fulfilling experiences of, giving this selfless Seva to our community for all these years?
Since you are asking, I shouldn't say that, but I donate a lot because I feel I can't do anything lately. I'm very much, you know, uh, I'm not doing any cooking and cleaning and all this. So I do the donation and I feel very, very blessed that I can do something for my society.
Thank you, Auntie, for doing that. And I know I have been personally, connected with you before moving out of Bay Area, and you have supported so many people to come into the art of living by, inspiring them to take the course, helping them mentally, spiritually, financially, in all possible ways. And in fact, you have been a very, very active volunteer and very inspirational person for all of us in the Tri-Valley Art of Living group there, right? And you have been providing, the physical services there. You would cook and bring, food for all of us, every weekend for those musical get-togethers. Samir or Avi will drive you every single time. So yeah, so there is no aspect of service in Art of Living that has been left untouched by you. And I don't think anybody in at least in the whole of Bay Area in Art of Living there's anybody who has not been touched by your service and your commitment and your dedication to the foundation. So thank you for doing all of that for us and inspiring us. I have been personally very, very been inspired by you. You're my first mentors in the Art of Living when I started my journey. So thank you so much to you for that.
And you are also, instrument for my, last 2 years. As a matter of fact, last more than 2 years, you've been really, really supporting me and giving me so much love. And also, yesterday you gave me the blessing. I was having hard evening, but I feel little better. So always give me blessing and also the unconditional love you give to my family. God bless you too.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you want, I can share a little story.
Yes.
From that night, 19 November, when I fell down, my son was in the other room. I was not even make noise because it's so much bleeding. And I don't know. I was just faint, so I don't know. It happened that the bell rang to my son room, and he came around 1 o'clock. And he took care of me. He did the first aid and all this. I don't know. I am really solving this issue. Who made this bell ringing in the night time, in the middle of night, for me to save?
And that was a handheld bell, right? It was a handheld bell, the metal one.
Yes, absolutely. It was a bell that, in the Hindu religion, it's a sacred bell that's associated with the temples. And I heard in the middle of the night very loudly, as Mom was saying, and I just heard it as a calling. And I immediately got up to see where's the sound coming from. And I went to one room and to see, Mom goes from one to the other room. And she was not there. So then I went to the other room, only to find her on the floor, and she had fallen. From there, the journey had started, and we took care of the situation. But had it not been for that bell, we miraculously may have never woken up in the 1:30 in the middle of the night, and may have not been there in time to be able to see what's going on. So we're very, very grateful for
Thank
that
you.
experience.
Absolutely. And if I remember correctly, Auntie, when we were discussing this situation, I remember Avi walked me into that room and that little chest on top of which the bell was kept. And there was this picture of Gurudev's, right? Right on the wall behind you. And that's the picture of Gurudev giving blessings, right? Like the picture like this. Surprise for you. Yeah, right, Auntie. So, I mean, I just wanted to connect the dots, for you, that you have always believed in the phenomena of blessings. You have been blessing people. You have been seeking, blessings from people. And that night you had that Gurudev's picture blessing you right behind you on the wall. And then this, the ringing of bell phenomena and everything we heard from you. So it's very, very beautiful, palpable.
Yes, we call it the rebirth for Mom because I found her in the fetal position right under the location of the painting or the portrait of Gurudev. And it was, when we reflect on it now, we kind of see that as the rebirth for Mom with her getting a second chance. And that was the inception of the beginning of the journey. And here we are today to tell the story.
Wow. So beautiful, so beautiful. And I know, when Auntie has been in hospital for those many years and then in those many months, and then in the rehab center, and we would always go and make this prayer and wish together with Auntie that when she gets discharged from the hospital and comes home, we will record. I know one time she wrote me a note that my story of grace and blessing should go live on social media, something to that effect. You said it should go live, it should reach to everybody because everybody should hear this and get should get inspired by this story. And I told her that don't worry, Auntie, the moment you get discharged and come home, we'll record you and this story will reach everybody. And then today we are living that moment. So it's very special. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me this evening. Nice. There is this beautiful little note behind you. Let me see. Yeah, right behind you, it says, Swasth hokar ghar aao, something to that effect, right? Which means come back home healthy, right? So what's the story behind that note, Auntie? You want to tell us?
We will tell you and you tell because you both did.
Yeah. So Mom, when she was deep into being in the ICU situation for the 2+ months, you were at one of the ashram in Boone, and we were fortunate enough to be able to connect with you over a video call. And in Gurudev's presence, Mom had the opportunity to question about her challenges, and we were all questioning the situation. It looked impossible, as I had talked about earlier. And at the time, I recall Gurudev had said something along the lines of "Tum theek ho jao, swasth hoke ghar jaoge tum." And we heard those words. We don't know if they were directed towards Mom, and we took those words wholeheartedly and with full divine intervention, and we took those words to heart, and we held on to those words to heart to believe in it and to be able to come out of these impossible scenarios and situations.
Beautiful. And lo and behold, a few months later, Auntie is back home and there is a significant, substantial, improvement in her health. And we continue to pray for her and bless her in our community for her continued recovery to the greatest health, right? So that's such a thing. What you have written on the note behind you is a reality today we are living. So beautiful. Samir, is there anything else that you wanted to share, about the stories of blessings or anything that is coming to your heart at this point?
Well, just this was about a year ago. This is in the beginning of our journey where we were trying to get second and third opinions from specialists, from Stanford specialist, UCSF specialist, and they all looked at Mom's files, charts, diagnosis, analysis, whatever you want to call it. And they all felt the severity was so extreme that they didn't have anything positive to say. And it was, in a nutshell, they'll say, well, maybe she has a year left, if that much. And we don't know. And that's like wishing for the best. And we heard them, we acknowledged them, but did not accept their findings. And this is where the blessings, the faith, we held on to it, and it led to one thing led to the other. Of course, she had to go to the hospital for 7.5 months, but it was that faith, that belief, the daily chants, the hope, the daily practices of Kriya, yoga, meditation, and just putting it all together, notes to Sri Sri, visits with Sri Sri. It is all of those culminations that we proved science to be incorrect. And she's a living testimony on where she is today with us.
Beautiful. Thank you, Samir, for sharing that. And Auntie, I think I remember you telling me that every time when you wanted to meet Gurudev or see Gurudev or talk to him during this challenging phase, every single time you have been able to connect with him and speak to him or hear from him, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would give you credit for my faith and also you, because you were the one who made it possible.
Yeah. So we all know, Auntie, it's your connection with your guru, right? And when you have that connection so strong, everybody else around you just becomes a little instrument of, that guru, that divine, to bring you the blessing that you're seeking for, the support that you're seeking for, to fulfill your desires, to speak to him, talk to him. So very, very beautiful, very beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. And maybe I would end it with the last question that I want each one of you to respond in your own way. That what is the greatest blessing that we all have as human beings today?
To enhance ourselves every day, to do the good selfless service of society, and don't be selfish, and give unconditional love to everyone. Even I go in a blesser of the word. I don't go on the phone, but I bless them from my heart. So blessing is not just to show your hands and all this. It goes from heart to heart.
Very beautiful. Blessing goes from heart to heart, and selfless service is the biggest blessing that we have as human beings today. The ability to do that selfless service. And Auntie, you, time and again, you epitomize that selfless service for us. So thank you for doing that for all these years and continuing to do that now, defying everything that people would call as challenges. You don't treat them as challenges. You're always in this space of giving and blessing and serving the community. So thank you for that. Avi?
I think Mom covered it all, right? She covered all the grounds in terms of but like this human life that we've been given is a gift, and we definitely feel that life as a whole is so precious, and we've been so grateful for the fact that Mom is now home, and we are able to appreciate the little things in life that sometimes others would take for granted. And it's a great feeling to be able to cherish how precious life is, and been able to get the second chance with Mom overcoming all challenges.
Wonderful, so beautiful. Thank you, Avi. Thank you for putting it that beautiful way. And Samir, for you?
Yeah, like how Avi said, mom covered all the grounds. It's all about going back to the foundation of giving back to the community, being selfless, don't expect results, and accept people and situation as they are. Situation will be challenging. You'll deal with difficult people, but just go back to your foundation on having a genuine belief of having faith, and blessings will come along the way for sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. So lovely. Auntie, you have any final words for us? Your words of blessings to all of us and everyone who will be watching this very inspiring story in coming days. You have any words for them?
I bless all of you from my heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Auntie. Juhi ji, Samir ji, and Avi ji for taking your time today on this Sunday late afternoon for you and coming together and sharing this so very precious, palpable, vulnerable, stories of your own experience, Auntie's journey of recovery to great health that continues, and then both of your journey, your family's journey into this. Such a story, such a wonderful story, very heart-touching, heartwarming for me and many of us, in the Art of Living Foundation. We continue to get inspired by the three of you, the trio, the winning trio, we love to call it. And every single day we get inspired by you, Auntie, and from both of you, Samir and Avi. So this is so wonderful. Thank you very much for coming together with me today.